and less of an open exposure directly into my soul. The restaurant was warm, packed, and reeked of its familiar combination of wood smoke and beef. Except something felt different that night. There was a prickly pulse in the air, an electricity that hadn't been there before. I gave Jenny a look. After 10 years of friendship, we could easily communicate without words. "Right?" Jenny whispered. "That's called buzz. And you got it." "What I got is nerves," I grumbled. "What am I doing in this bohemian sparkle Barbie outfit?" "Pulling it off," she said, grinning. "You know you love it." I shook my head and headed straight to the back of the dining floor while keeping my eyes fixed on the piano, my life raft. I didn't want to recognize anyone. It was way easier playing to a room full of hypothetical strangers. A gigantic moose head with Christmas lights draped around its antlers hung on the wall above the piano. I gave him a little nod before I sat down. It seemed the respectful thing to do since he was stuck in such an unfortunate afterlife. The manager, Bob, a science teacher-looking type in a corduroy jacket and tweed pants, came over with a mug of hot chocolate, per my usual request. I sat down at the piano bench, cracked my knuckles, and gave him a nod. "Attention," Bob said as the lights dimmed and people started to shush. "May I have the honor of presenting Northampton High's own up-and-coming talent, Kyla Bell." As applause warbled in my ears, I struggled to breathe. The time had come to crack myself open again, revealing my inner self to the crowd. Nothing to do but plunge in head first, lose my surroundings by disappearing deep into the songs. Playing was a form of time and space travel for me. The piano was my ship, transporting me to faraway soundscapes with the press of the keys. My voice loved to weave with the sound of thick strings being hammered into melodies. I burrowed deep into my songs to create cocoons of sound that kept me spinning in an orbit between light and darkness, hope and sadness. Performing was a particular kind of fix, and I was definitely hooked. After I finished, the clapping seemed to go on forever. I smiled so hard it started to hurt, and quickly sought refuge at the table Jenny had claimed in the corner. Bob sped over to us. "Your best set yet," he raved. "Dinner's on the house." He handed me a $20 bill and smiled shyly before rushing back into the kitchen. "Oh, yay," Jenny joked when he was gone. "Free terrible dinner." "You definitely burned up the place. Everyone's staring at us." "Try not to look stupid." I laughed, grateful for her humor, even though the truth was, I did feel I looked stupid. I always had the problem of not knowing how to look. I wasn't one of those people who practiced expressions in front of the mirror or anything, but for both our sakes, I tried to make my expression as blank and aloof as possible while savoring the sliver of pride I felt at how I had played. There was something burning into the back of my neck, though. I turned to notice a guy with long dark hair emitting a microwave magnetic stare at me from the table he shared with two other scruffy musician types. I looked away, but could still feel him approaching. "Hey." I forced myself to look into his laser beam eyes. Jenny did a bad job stifling a giggle, and I cringed as he cleared his throat. "Really dig your stuff," he continued, ignoring my paralysis. I stared at his stubble. Why did he look so familiar? He was definitely too old to be in school. "You had me hearing some cool guitar parts in my head. Your voice is so deep, and I'd call you punk if your songs weren't so smooth at the same time."